Good evening. I'm going to call the January 25th, 2022 regular meeting of the Town Board to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Moskowitz.
Present.
Councilman Delarada. Absent. Councilman McPartlin.
Here.
Councilwoman Brennan.
Here.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Present. Thank you. Will we all now rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are your microphones on?
May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 21st, 2021, regular Town Board meeting?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any changes to those minutes?
I was not here for that meeting, Supervisor, so I will abstain from approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the January 11th, 2022 Special Organizational Town Board meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes from January 11th, 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any changes to those minutes? Two changes, please, to read Supervisor Puccioni. Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Any other changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, we will now call the first public hearing. Will the clerk please call the public hearing?
A public hearing regarding making Story Ave a no commercial vehicle street.
Thank you. Now the public hearing is now open. And before we begin, I would just like to make a brief statement. Before we hear from the residents this evening, I would like to recommend that each participant limit their comments to 5 minutes. This new recommendation is designated to resolve tension between those who have ideas to share at the privilege of the floor and neighbors who would like us to move forward into the town's business. To strike this balance, boards here in town and surrounding areas like the Niskuna School District, Schenectady County Legislature, and the Schenectady City Council have strict 3-minute limits on speakers. While that approach is favored by some, we instead ask each speaker to limit their comments to under 5 minutes. It is a reasonable compromise. There is a light on the podium to help remind you when 5 minutes have elapsed. We ask that when the light goes on, you please wrap up your remarks. Thank you in advance for your good citizenship and commitment to our community. I believe we have some residents online who would like to speak. Robert Gant.
Hi, is everybody able to hear me? I'm sorry, I'm just leaving work, but I would be more than happy to speak for a moment. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Thank you.
Great. So I've been a resident of Story Avenue for just under a year. The neighbors are wonderful. The town has been great, but there have been several issues of concern that have presented themselves in a very unsafe manner. As of just the last couple of weeks with the tractor trailer incident, which all the residents are aware of. There's been a few accidents with the slippery slope, the large slope. And I think that in the interest of safety, all the people that live on the road would like to see something done to make the road a little bit safer. We realize that it's a very easy way to get to perhaps Van Antwerp or for some of the larger vehicles to come, down and through and circumvent some of the busier intersections. But by doing so, they're definitely putting our property and certain people's, homes and, even health at risk. So we just ask that the town consider some opportunities to maybe look out a little bit for that street. Thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mr. Gant. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure. My name is Robert Gant. I live at 2335 Story Avenue.
Thank you. The public hearing is still open. I believe we have another resident who would like to speak, Stephanie Grafton, who's online.
Good evening. I am Stephanie Grafton, and I am here with my husband, Michael Grafton, who is going to speak.
Hello. Hi, my name is Michael Grafton. Yeah, I would just like to follow up. With what
Can you state your address, please?
2334 Story Avenue. I live across the street from Rob, and I would just like to follow up with what he was saying. Yes, about 7 months ago, my car was parked on my lawn in my driveway, and what was it? A tow truck going up the hill slid down the hill and totaled my car while it was in my lawn. So just to add to what Rob was saying, it is dangerous. Luckily, none of my kids were in my car, or myself or my wife. But that's the second incident that we had in our driveway just about a month ago. If that, another car also almost hit my car and was hit by another car as well. Yeah, so is the block has at least 3 or 4 families with children, and sometimes we have issues of speeding, or just like Rob was saying, it's a slippery slope, that hill, and vehicles trying to go up when they shouldn't be in adverse weather. Thank you.
Thank you. The public hearing is still open. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Please state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Kathy Kurlock. I'm at 2330 Story Avenue. I'm right in the middle of the hill. I've been there for about 24 years now. It's a great neighborhood, wonderful people. And as time has gone on, the GPS system has given routes to tractor trailer trucks and other commercial vehicles going up our hills that I have never seen gone up the hill before. These are, overweight trucks, tons and tons of weight that can't get up the hill, or when they do get up the hill, they want to take a right or a left or onto Balltown Road. So when they do take a turn, they have to turn all the way into Balltown Road into oncoming traffic to make that turn, or they can't, when they come to a stop and there's another car at the stop sign at the top of the hill because of the incline, the grade, they can't get their momentum to get up to the hill. So they start jumping. The truck car starts jumping like this, and then they have to back down the hill. So this is really, really a dangerous area for these tractor trailer trucks or any large vehicles that are overweight like that, who cannot get up the hill and make a turn. And that's what's happening is they're losing their brakes, they're losing their ability to control the vehicle. So they come down, they hit Michael's car, and that flew into my yard. It went flying. And so that was just the one incident. The other incident just on January 5th was another tractor trailer truck coming up the hill, couldn't make it, started to jump and jackknifed across the road. And then the road was closed at Balltown Road, being Antwerp, Story, and they had to get a large rig to tow that truck straight so he could then back down the hill. This is a hill that, our children are walking to school back and forth, or they're going to each other's houses to play. We shouldn't have fear that there's a cab, this tractor trailer truck cab, on a front lawn in one of our houses. So we're just very, very concerned residents, and we would love to see what we could do together with the town to resolve this issue, if there is a way to resolve it. These tractor trailer trucks are using GPS systems from their phones, so they don't have a commercial tractor trailer or commercial GPS system that costs $500 or $600, and they also get paid by the miles, so they try to take shortcuts. And so many of these truck drivers are inexperienced truck drivers going up this hill. They don't have any way to know that this is a hill that they're going up. And so they also have to have, it's a 30 mile per hour zone from just a very short span, and we're in a school zone. So, I'm really, really concerned about, the children, especially, for being in a vehicle, just if they're parked in their own driveway, getting, hit. And but not only that, you don't know what they're carrying. They could be carrying hazardous materials, and other things. So that's a big concern. And I did go, and I got at the DMV, the CDL man, how to get your license. And there's a lot of information in here, I'll tell you, that has been very helpful to me. And I did speak with an instructor from the CDL school in Minneans, and he was very informative, saying that there should be no tractor trailer trucks at all going up Story Avenue. So we're hoping that, at least if we could get a weight restriction. Also, very importantly, I would say that when my children went to school at Van Antwerp or the high school, no school buses would ever go up that hill, ever travel up Story Avenue. We have school buses now from Niskayuna and other schools flying up that hill. So I think that I would like to bring that
The
to
bigger
attention
ones?
also.
The bigger buses are?
Yes.
The bigger
yes,
school buses?
Yes. They always came down the hill, which is also still very dangerous if it's not plowed or sanded or salted right away. That is something that I would like to bring to the attention also, is that because that's a traffic for EMS and fire trucks to get through from Story Avenue into Old Niskayuna, I believe it should be salted, plowed, and sanded first, or early at least, for those vehicles especially. Let's see. I had and because it is a school zone there also. So there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign at the top of Story Avenue when you come off of Balltown Road to go down, but then you get to a 20-mile-an-hour, and then you get to a stop sign, like right away. So I would like to propose maybe having that drop down to a 25 miles an hour, and also no parking on that side of the street. There's only two no parking signs, and we need a third one at least. So I know that my time is coming up, but on Console Road, I noticed just recently, and St. David's Lane, they both have 30-mile-an-hour zones because they're town roads, and they also have flashing light now that states what your speed is. And I'm thinking maybe that would be a good thing to have. Just bringing that to your attention. I think that's pretty much, so far, it's most important things that I've bulleted here to bring to your attention. And I appreciate and thank you so much for listening to our concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak. Please state your name and address.
My name is Julie LaRoe. I live at 2320 Story Ave. I've lived there since probably 1975, and I feel like it's only gotten worse. And I do think that the traffic is increasing because of the GPS, that everybody is just plugging in the address and following. You can hear as the cars go by, you can hear the voice telling them how to turn, where to turn. And we see all sorts of vehicles. We see a Wade tour bus frequently. We see the giant school buses going up. We see just this week, there was a huge tow truck pulling a Brinks truck. Now, it would have been interesting if that had crashed and money flew out, but that didn't happen. Luckily, they got stuck at the top. They blocked the whole street and Balltown. It was a huge rig, and as it was up there, a school bus came up behind it. So if that truck had lost control, now kids could have gotten hurt. So I agree that we should first start with removing the commercial vehicles from going up our road. And then look at hopefully that will take care of most of the problems, but then look at the zone for the speed limit. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak. Please state your name and address.
Marlene McCleary. I live at 2326 Story Avenue. I just wanted to say that I support the no commercial zone. I do have 2 children that go to school at Ban Antwerp and Hillside that walk, and it is very stressful for me. I watch them every single day, even though I feel like it should be okay. It's very short distance, and have seen a lot of commercial vehicles go up there and have trouble, and have seen accidents, head-on collisions with this last year. I think in October there was a type of vehicle that ended up having an accident that was commercial. So I definitely would support this no commercial zone and hope you will consider. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak.
Leslie Gold, 1919 Pawtucket Avenue. Clearly, I do not live in that neighborhood, but I'm familiar with that block coming down the hill from Balltown. And I agree, it only makes sense to restrict the traffic from trucks and other large vehicles. I trust provisions will be made for local deliveries to homeowners for appliances and such. But other than that, I really don't see a need for trucks to be going there. It's just much too dangerous. And also, I think in the draft, there was a weight limit. And the question that immediately occurred to me was, is that of the vehicle or the vehicle loaded, or does it make a difference? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak.
Lorene Zabin, 2455 Brookshire Drive. I apologize for this light in the event that I can see just fine. And I feel that this is an insult to a taxpayer of 42 years in this town, and you people don't want to hear anything about the town. As I have noted and asked, there are people working for the town now that have never been at a meeting. Do they know anything about our code enforcements? Do they know anything about the comprehensive plan? And I find this such a disservice to this wonderful community that we had probably one of the worst elections that I have witnessed in all of my years of living here. We had no privilege. It wasn't privilege of the floor. We had no meetings. We had no public meetings. We have people that could have gone down to the senior citizen building, had their committees, wanted to have the candidates have some kind of focus. All we had were very expensive publications coming to our door. And half the time, I think people just throw them away. It took forever to find out who the people were, where did they live, what was their background. And I want to get to the real gist of this thing. There's several things I know we have a new attorney. She has been here as a deputy and did fine jobs on the committees. But how are we using equipment for the new town telephone service when we haven't even approved it yet? I think we're doing things that are kind of backwards. The resolutions are on the agenda tonight to pass the purchase of it. And I think we already did, unless it was a free trial and error program. I have to laugh. I came into town hall and had a very nice conversation with the supervisor, but the new receptionist, whoever she was, said there was nobody there and they were in a conference. Well, that wasn't so. That was a lie. This is the receptionist telling, I don't know who she was. She looks like a new person. We've got all kinds of new people floating around here. We've had some terrible rumors concerning one of our elected town board members that involved not only the police department, but I mean, how do we accept these rumors about people and they get out there and nobody does anything about it? I want to know, and I did discuss it with the supervisor, but I find that when I went on and read the resolutions that were giving some cast off from Rotterdam's finance department, we're getting her and we're giving her a new benefit. Now, is that benefit prescribed just for this position? I don't know how you're doing things. I don't know that, it's the supervisor's privilege. Is it the supervisor's privilege not to honor our civil service system? We have people that are not taking civil service tests to be appointed. Where's the competition here? Where are the backgrounds of these people? We have a confidential secretary who's a relative of somebody in the county. Are we an independent town with independent carrying on? Or are we going to be a community and a town board that listens to other people rather than want to be bothered with the people that live here and pay the taxes here? I'm very disappointed that the supervisor, who won very, very excessively with the vote, that she didn't say, it's good to be here. Thank you for voting for me. I will work for the town. We have to stop being so negative. I will stop being negative if I see proof that this new board, who couldn't even give an elected person a committee, which has never been heard of, on the advice of whom? I never saw these people at town board meetings. When they certainly didn't want to open up the road because a group of people that lived on Windsor didn't want the traffic. Too bad. Who owns the roads here? And yet we've gone ahead and made all kinds of concessions. We've had people come here from Whitmire Drive. Does anybody know where Whitmire Drive is? It happens to be the road, the single lane road that goes to the sewer and water system. Do you know the sewer and water system still, I don't think, has state approval? What is your plan for the town? Just to get elected and undo all the things that have taken almost 200 years to use? My red light's on. I said I would stay till you had me arrested, but I'm tired of talking to you. Proof is in the actions. And when we talk about rumors, there was a terrible rumor about a woman, a council person. Oh, and it went on and on. I said, you got to be kidding. It involved our police department. I think these things have to be squashed. I think the town has to have a little bit more openness. I made lists of things I wanted to talk about. I'll save it for next time. By the way, I will be 92, and a friend, and we never agree on anything, but she called me and drove me to the meeting because I don't drive after dark. Now, if anybody wants to see that I come and speak at this meeting, and if they don't want it, don't call me. But I can't come here until it starts getting a little bit lighter. And today was the day at 5 o'clock we could still see outside, and I'm happy about that. I'll save my list. I'm sure I'll add to it. Thank you. And I do wish you luck, especially in renovation that I don't know who's paying for it, of the whole supervisor squad. And I certainly hope it gets done pretty soon because it looks terrible out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak. Seeing that no one is left to speak at the public hearing, I am closing this public hearing, and we will move a little out of order because we have a ceremonial resolution for the Niskayuna Rowing Club. This will be Resolution 2022-46. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution commending the Niskuna rowing team for making history at the head of the Charles Regatta.
And Supervisor, I will second that. And during our discussion, I'd just like to make a couple comments with our rowers. I don't know if I have a microphone handy. Thank you. So this evening, we have a very special occurrence. We have a ceremonial resolution commending the Niskayuna rowing team for making history at the head of the Charles Regatta. This is a major rowing event sponsored by the U.S. Rowing Association, held in Cambridge, Mass. Every year, I think sometime around October. And Niskayuna did very well in it last year, better than they've done, I believe, since the 1990s. So we have several students here along with their families. And I'm going to read the ceremonial resolution before I introduce their wonderful coach, Mrs. Stacy Applebaum, who I understand was just recently awarded the New York State Coach of the Year Award for rowing, so that's a wonderful thing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. That is great. Congratulations. The following resolution will be offered by Supervisor Puccioni and myself. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Niskayuna as follows. Whereas in October 2021, Niskayuna Rowing participated in the Head of the Charles Regatta in Boston, Massachusetts. And whereas the Head of the Charles is an international regatta on a very complicated river with a lot of sharp turns and bridges over a 4,800 meter long course. It creates a challenge to row in weather-wise and geographically wise. And whereas with more than 600 clubs and over 9,000 athletes from over 24 countries that come to the Head of the Charles Regatta, making it one of the largest regattas in the world. Whereas the Niskayuna Rowing Women's Youth Coxed Quad medal in 5th place out of 52 boats. 5th place out of 52 boats internationally for the first time in nearly 30 years, and no other team in the region medaled there this year. Whereas the Niskayuna Rowing also had 2 other boats rowing in the regatta that represented very well, and some of them are here and will be spoken on later. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 21st day of December on this 25th day of January in 2022, in recognition of Niskayuna Rowing's huge accomplishments at the 2021 Head of the Charles Regatta, the Niskayuna Town Board offers its personal commendations and applaud the rowing team for all of its hard work and accomplishments. Congratulations to the Niskayuna Rowing Club, the rowing team, and I again want to introduce one of their coaches, Mrs. Stacy Applebaum, who again is the New York State Coach of the Year. I'd like to say a couple words. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It is such a pleasure and a joy to work with this group. We have a wonderful team of coaches, and I'd like to ask them to come up first. Sabrina Skotarczyk, who works with the varsity girls with me, Sean O'Brien, who is the head men's varsity coach, and Aaron Zuppel, who works with Sean with the varsity boys. We work as a team and do a lot, but our job is easy because the kids will do pretty much whatever we ask them to. They work hard, they love it, they bring along their peers. We had freshmen in the group this year that went to Boston and who rose to the occasion, mostly because the older guys just really pulled them along. And that is so much about what we're about as we go. So we're very proud of them. To medal at the Head of the Charles is a huge, huge deal and something that they'll remember all their lives. The boys quad was 10th. Niskayuna, I don't think, has ever had 2 boats in the top 10, one on the boys' side and one on the girls' side. So this is a phenomenal accomplishment for our team, and we're just so thrilled for all of them. Should I introduce them? Or?
I'm sorry.
Should I introduce?
Sure. Anyone who wants to say it.
Okay. All right. Representing the women's quad from stroke to bow, we have Heather Schmidt. Come stand up front. Jordan Zenner. Stella Mirkovich. Rebecca Schechter. And the brains behind the operation, the driver, Samantha Rowden. So, and Sean will introduce the boys.
All right, good evening. To introduce the boys who competed at the Head of the Charles, I will start with our single sculler, Colin Mead. And for the boys Cox Quad, the top 10 Cox Quad, stroke the bow, we have, excuse me, Adam Conrad. Please come up. Thank you. Daniel Kelly. Ryan Behar. Cooper Anderson. And our coxswain, Daniel Shahada. And I personally just want to thank the boys for all the hard work that they put in for this great effort that was shown at the race. They put in the time, day in, day out, over the summer, over the fall, putting in their extra workouts. They did a fantastic job all around. So thank you to them and to the girls for a fantastic job as well. Thank you.
Would anyone like to say anything?
I will. I think as high schoolers, it's very rare to see such a big group of athletes that are so committed to something. What was it? At the end of COVID, when we started going back to school, there was a group of 4 of us who wanted to do extra workouts. So we recruited one of our coaches to do morning rows, and it was a process, but we got it going. And then this past fall, we recruited a lot more athletes, and that was our group, pretty much the entire Charles group. So it worked out very well. And this group has done a lot of great things for this team and has gotten our town out there. So lots of great things are happening.
Well, congratulations again. That really is a wonderful thing. 2 boats, 5th place for the women's and 10th place for the boys. And we're very happy to see that the developments we've been able to do down at the dock and the Aqueduct Park are being well used and well represented. And hopefully we'll keep that going and be back in 5th, 10th or better next year. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Michelle, will you please call the roll to vote?
Councilman Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilman Delarada.
Yes.
Councilman McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Thank you so much. Okay, now we will move on to our next public hearing. Will the clerk please call the public hearing?
A public hearing regarding the addition of a stop sign on Williams Street where Middle and East Street meet.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. The public hearing is still open for anyone who wishes to speak. Seeing no one is here to speak at this public hearing, I am closing this public hearing, and we will move on to the privilege of the floor. Thank you. Okay, I did receive several email requests to be read into the record. The first letter is from Charles Piotrowski, 1336 Stanley Lane. To the Niskayuna Town Board. As a town resident, taxpayer, and voter, I fully support the board's prerogative and right to limit the time per speaker during privilege of the floor. Board meetings should be open to the public, and the public should have an opportunity to express their opinion. That said, in the spirit of equitable, efficient, and effective government, the board should be able to limit the amount of time per speaker. Allowing the public to express their issues in under 5 minutes is more than adequate. Should the public desire to express themselves for a longer time, they may avail themselves of multiple physical and digital resources available in our area. In an effective and efficient democracy, issues presented by the public bearing further discussion and deliberation by the town board should be sponsored by a board member. The board member should present the issue as a meeting agenda item for the board to openly and equitably consider under Robert's rules or other agreed upon parliamentary rules of order. Thank you. The next letter is from Katie Chow, 109 Deanna Court. I am writing in support of the recent actions taken by the newly elected town board, including the appointments of Elena Finnan, Susan Polsinelli, and Elizabeth Greenwood. Supervisor Puccioni has demonstrated that she is focused and building a strong team and unafraid to make difficult decisions. For too long, our town board was mired in controversy and incivility. While we continue to hold newly elected officials accountable, it is incumbent upon us to allow space for change and trust that the extremely well-qualified people we elected will represent us with integrity. I voted for candidates that would work on repairing the broken trust in our leadership and draw in talented, diverse residents willing to serve all of Niskuna. So far, I am pleased with the direction of our town board. The next letter is from Ellen Daviero, 1322 Hawthorne Road. Hello, Supervisor Puccioni. I just wanted to reach out and congratulate and welcome you and the new town board members. I am looking forward to the collective vision and direction that you have for the town. I have been disheartened by some of the negative press that you and the town have already been receiving. It is important that we all work together to improve our community, and I would ask the naysayers that before making quick judgments, we all give the new supervisor and the new town board time to settle in and the space needed to make changes before we judge so harshly. I know that there are issues to solve, and it will take time, effort, and cooperation to solve the issues, but we should also recognize we live in a very fortunate community and begin the process better off than most. This letter is from Judy Thomasman. Thank you to our new town supervisor, Jamie Puccioni, incoming board members, Jessica Brennan and Jason Moskowitz, and returning board members, John De La Rada and Bill McPartlin. Thank you for your commitment to the residents of the town of Niskayuna and for giving your time and energy to work together in what can sometimes be a difficult job. While most of you have only been in office a few short weeks, it is evident that you are all willing to jump right in and work together to get things done. Previous administrations have worked hard to build a solid foundation. This new administration brings fresh eyes and energy and a willingness to build on this foundation and bring forth new efficiencies in reorganizing and streamlining the way things are done. We all can benefit when the good is made even better. I was particularly pleased to learn of a new universal application and aligned salary plan for seasonal workers. This is an open and transparent process, thereby removing potential appearance, however inadvertent, of bias or favoritism. I am hopeful the town's work on equity and diversity continues the same path. Thank you again for your time and energy and willingness to work together on behalf of the residents of Niskuna. I am looking forward to great things in our town. The next letter is from Tina Lee, 1106 Glen Meadow Court. My name is Tina Lee, and I live at 1106 Glen Meadow Court. I am writing to express my sincere support for our new supervisor, Jamie Puccioni. I also want to applaud her appointments of Elena Finnan, Susan Polsinelli, and Beth Greenwood, a team of professionals dedicated to making a positive impact for all residents of Niskayuna. I first met Supervisor Puccioni when we volunteered together on a campaign. I was immediately impressed with her intelligence, focus, and caring. Supervisor Puccioni has demonstrated her commitment to Niskayuna by interrupting her successful career at University at Albany to serve our community. She's shown her dedication by reducing her teaching load and showing up every day to town hall to learn everything she can to lead important and necessary changes to the operations of our government. I want to further share my personal experiences working with Susan Polsinelli and Beth Greenwood. Susan and I are friends and have volunteered together on countless social justice projects. Susan is smart, compassionate, dedicated, and a leader committed to open communication. She will provide positive energy each day at Town Hall as Supervisor Puccioni's confidential secretary. Beth and I have also volunteered together, and I cannot imagine a more qualified, trustworthy, and perfect choice for our comptroller. During the campaign, when friends asked what I thought was the most important election issue, I said, quote, need for transparency. As the former mayor of Tully and an officer in the Navy Reserves, Beth has proven her ability to listen, understand complicated situations, and implement common sense policies and procedures. Improving government transparency is Beth's top priority, and she has the successful track record to show for it. I voted in November for a change, and I am proud of and excited for the progress already happening at Town Hall. I thank Supervisor Puccioni and her team, and I invite my Niskayuna neighbors to join me in providing support to our leadership as they tackle the challenge ahead. Thank you. Dear Miss Martinelli, I'm sorry, this letter is from Hayden Connors, 1218 Jason Lane. Dear Miss Martinelli, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing with a few thoughts that hopefully can be read at the town meeting on January 25th, 2022. I was concerned about some recent instances that occurred at town meetings when residents were given the opportunity to speak as a privilege to the floor. I wholeheartedly believe that citizens deserve to have their voices heard and leaders should listen to them. However, I think reform is needed to make the privilege of the floor more effective and organized. I've noticed that commenters are often very long and not on topic of actual town business. I think the length and off-topic nature of these addresses limits the time of other residents who may want to talk about actual important business. I like the idea of limiting comments made during privilege of the floor to 5 minutes. 5 minutes should certainly be enough time to share one's opinion and is in line with other institutions that allow public comments, such as the school board and neighboring municipalities. There are also other ways to say more or give additional information, such as a letter, email, or in-person meeting if needed. I want the Niskayuna town meetings to be known for meaningful, effective citizen participation rather than allowing unhinged behaviors to go unchecked. I would like to commend Supervisor Puccioni for realizing that a change was needed in Niskayuna personnel and for appointing excellent candidates. Both of my parents retired from law enforcement in Albany County, and I think the public safety should be our top priority. I would like to offer kudos to Chief Koshin, Board Member Brennan, and Supervisor Puccioni for working hard to recruit qualified and diverse candidates to join the police force. I was very happy to see a female resident of Niskayuna would be joining the force. Thank you for all your time. This is from Thomas Church. Dear Town Clerk Martinelli, I am hoping that this email can be read at privilege of the floor during this town board meeting scheduled for January 25th, 2022. I am unable to attend this meeting in person. I would like to congratulate and welcome the new members of the town board, Supervisor Jamie Puccioni, Councilwoman Jessica Brennan, and Councilman Jason Moskowitz. I also would like to congratulate John De La Rada on his reelection. I am excited to see 3 new faces that will be leading our town into the future. I am also pleased that the town board has chosen to appoint a new attorney and a new comptroller. I think that the 2 new appointees, Elena Finnan and Elizabeth Greenwood, sound very competent and qualified, and I wish them success as they begin their new jobs. I believe that Niskayuna offers its residents great services and great programs, and I am encouraged that I will start reading about all the good things that are happening in town. Sincerely. And the final letter is from Taryn Archer. Miss Michelle Martinelli, since I am unable to attend the town board meeting in person, I am asking that this email be read at privilege of the floor during the town board meeting this evening. After reading the recent article in the Gazette, I would like to congratulate the new town supervisor, Jamie Puccioni, and the town board on finally publicly recommending that privilege of the floor be limited to 5 minutes. I have watched some of the town board meetings last year, and I was appalled at the repetitive rants of many residents. Privilege of the floor is a mechanism for residents to personally inform their elected officials of an issue or concern, or to express an opinion on a relevant town matter. I believe that 5 minutes is plenty of time for a person to speak before the town board and to provide an explanation for their appearance. Also, if a person does not feel that 5 minutes is enough time, or they have a concern that is more of a private matter, there are other alternatives. They could schedule a meeting with the supervisor, a town board member, or a department head, or they could communicate in other ways, emails or letters. I believe that limiting speakers to 5 minutes will encourage residents to be organized, succinct, and concise. There is nothing wrong with encouraging speakers to be prepared. I commend our town board on their willingness to change the procedures of the legislative body. Very truly yours. Wow. The privilege of the floor is still open.
So hi, can you hear me with the mask on?
Yes. And please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Catherine Wolfram and I live at 1854 Union Street. We've lived there for about 16 years. And I wanted to congratulate those of you that are new to the town board. I think it's awesome that you have the courage to run for elected office especially during these times. So thank you for serving and thank you for being here. And I hope everything is great for you and that you all can work together. And I'd also like to say two suggestions. Since we've lived here, I have been concerned about the development that I think, especially now with the climate crisis, I think that preserving land and land conservation should be really of paramount importance. And I think there's things that we can still do. I see land being cleared continuously in Niskayuna, and it would be great if we could save some of that land so that we can, as a way to mitigate climate change. The other thing is that I would like to see, instead of it being councilman, councilwoman, if we could have council members, and so that we open a space for those who are non-binary. So that would be awesome if we could see that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Privilege of the floor is still open.
Good evening. Dr. Linda Rizzo, 2229 Fairlawn Parkway. I'm just going to say this. I know that clock is ticking, but I have never seen anyone unhinged at this microphone, nor have I ever seen anyone rant on. Everyone pays taxes. Everyone has a voice. Honesty and integrity and service to the community are values people expect from their elected officials. Sometimes we always don't see this. The 5-minute timer is not really the issue. It just shows a deeper problem. The problem that it shows is that it wasn't done by consensus with the whole board. Jason Moskowitz knew nothing about it, as he stated in the paper. Another board member told me that he found out after it had been implemented. Now, Jason Moskowitz also is the same board member who was denied a committee despite being the highest vote getter. He has more of a mandate than others who were elected because of his large number of votes. The voters trusted him to be a board member, but town government doesn't trust him to have a committee. Please do not tell people this is not partisanship. Also, this town has used the fund balance to balance the budget 3 years in a row. This type of budgeting causes deficits. This board hired a controller without advertising and interviewing. After being in the job for 2 weeks, the administration is recommending the same person be given an additional 2-week vacation with pay based on experience, heavy on real estate and light on accounting. Are others experienced town employees going to be given rewards for their experience? This, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, is neither fair nor consistent. It sets a bad precedent. In addition, she was given a 2-year term. Hopefully, she knows voodoo economics/budgeting so she can make the deficit disappear. Landry, as our supervisor, left this town with a sound budget. He knew budgeting as well as his controller did. There is no one on this board that has this skill or the skill he had. You cannot raise our taxes when you discover a deficit. Residents should not and will not pay for budget mismanagement. You have other items such as the phone system replacement. You should not be spending any unnecessary funds until you know the state of the budget. If you come to residents and ask for a tax increase because you have a deficit, then anyone voting in the affirmative on non-essential items should be ashamed of themselves. In fact, supporting an unbalanced budget that causes a deficit has betrayed the trust of your residents. And if that happens and you have to raise taxes, I believe you should step down. Honesty and integrity and service to the community are values our officials should embody. We as residents should demand this of them. I support anyone who has these values. I am not anyone's minion, nor do I blindly follow anyone. I just want good government, and if that seems strange to you, well, then let it be. Good government is the foundation of our towns, our city, and our nation. Political parties are not the problem, it's values. People that have the correct values are those that should be supported. I really don't care if they have an R or D after their name. In the end, I would like to congratulate everyone that was elected. But I am very concerned about the budget. I'm concerned about hiring a controller, sight unseen, no advertising, no interviewing, a 2-year term, and now vacation time with pay. You have too many employees that are experienced. This is an insult to them. When you take a job, and I have hired people, I have been in administration, I've had 300 people under me. When you hire people, they don't demand the circumstances of their hiring. They accept what you tell them it's going to be. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Privilege of the floor is still open. Seeing no further residents, we'll be moving on to committee reports. We can start with police and public safety.
Thank you, Supervisor. All right, for police and public safety, we have various trainings underway in the police department. 2 of note are, 1 is Officer Henry's training to become a defensive tactics instructor. This means he'll be able to train other officers in ways to use minimal force to de-escalate physical situations. Another training is that all officers are completing training in procedural justice and implicit bias. Chief Koshin put in a request into the highway department in order to look at the Birchwood School crossing, the crossing walk paint, which is faded, and they're going to look at that in the springtime. And Chief Koshin continues to respond to citizen requests to study traffic patterns and traffic sign needs. The holiday parade collaborative effort between the Niskayuna PD Fire District number 1 and the school district was a huge success. Many parents across the district were able to provide for their children for the holidays due to the generosity of our town residents. For court updates, the full-time clerk has begun, and they have submitted their COVID jury trial plan. The school district reached out to ask for collaboration on parking during their capital project, so we are coordinating that. We welcomed Lexi Guest as a new officer, and she has started at the academy. Officer Guest is a Niskayuna resident and holds a bachelor's in criminal justice. Project in works, one is improving our Take Me Home system for vulnerable community members. The person or someone on behalf of that person can sign them up with the police department and help our officers support them as therapeutically as possible as needed in the community. Another project in the works is a severe weather welfare check registry. We are beginning collaboration with the fire department on this project. Chief Koshin is also looking into implementing a community survey to address the question, what would our community like to see more of from our police department? And just as a public safety reminder to the public, please wear reflective clothing at dusk if you are out walking or jogging. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. The report from community programs.
Thank you. So for community programs, for January and February events, we have the West Mountain Ski Club. This program's being run, it's typically for only high school students, but since COVID has made it difficult at the middle school level to offer this program, it was opened up to the middle school as well, and it's a full program and it's going well. For the spring soccer registration will open February 1st for K through 5. For the summer, the program book is underway and registration will begin April 1st. Something new and exciting is a new universal application for seasonal positions. This will be getting launched, and we're excited about this because it should open up more comprehensive and a more efficient way for people to apply for positions under one application, and will help our department process them more efficiently as well. And our goal is to have this on the website by February 14th. We are also working on a facility use manual. This should aid in making fees and policies for rental and leasing of town fields and facilities transparent and available at a glance. For senior center updates, the Alzheimer's support group will resume in March. Gentle Flow yoga class is new and being offered hybrid. And Mahjong continues to be popular, and our book club continues to grow. A new project we've been working on with the senior center is called Niskayuna at Home. It's a collaborative effort between the senior center and our high school. Its goal is to connect senior citizens who could use some help with students and adults in the community who want to serve their community. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Public Works.
Thank you, Supervisor. Public Works will start with highway, transportation, public facilities. We met, myself and Councilman Moskowitz, with the department heads on January 6th. And regarding highway, the crews are working on clearing trees, which they usually do this time of year when there's no foliage on them, patching potholes in the roads. Personnel-wise, the Highway and Parks Department is fully staffed. The Highway Department will continue to pick up Christmas trees to the end of this week. So if you still got one that you need to get out there, please put it out by this week. Make sure there's no ornaments, stands, or plastic on the trees. Our parks crews have been working on our trail systems in our parks. They do that again this time of year, keeping them clear. A lot of our parks are still open for recreation in the wintertime, especially over River Road Park. That's kind of one of my favorites. You can go over there. You can snowshoe, cross-country skiing, sledding, all that sort of things takes place in our parks. So our parks are still open in the winter, so come out and enjoy. At our meeting, we also discussed Dean Street Park and getting signage there, indicating that that is a private Park for the residents of the Dean Street Park District. The next meeting will be February 3rd at 8 a.m. And then I'll just go right into water and sewer. Again, Councilman Moskowitz and myself attended this meeting on January 6th. We discussed water and sewer COVID-19 updates. We have some attorney items that we discussed at this meeting that our town attorney's office is working on regarding city water billing, town code changes about illegal dumping. We've gotten some illegal dumping going on in the town, and we need some laws on our books to be able to enforce no dumping rules. Water and sewer maintenance, our lining project over there in the Mayfair area and Country Club Drive is almost complete. There's just one short section left. Hopefully that'll be done by February when the weather gets a little bit warmer. Utility billing for the third quarter is a resolution that's on for tonight. Also residential and commercial utility billing. The wastewater treatment plant, one of the residents brought that up earlier at privilege of the floor. We have received our permits from the state for that, so we're looking very much forward to getting that plant up and running to its maximum potential very soon. The water treatment plant design and upgrade. Hopefully we'll be getting bids on that in March. We're going to be doing some major work at our water plant. That's our drinking water plant, not to be confused with wastewater plant. And our recycling center, we are still looking for a transfer station attendant. And our next meeting will be February 3rd at 8:30. That's all I have.
Thank you. Economic Development, Historic Preservation, and Environmental Conservation Committee.
Thank you, Councilmember McPartlin, Councilmember Brennan, and Supervisor Puccioni. I like those new terms, by the way, that our new resident suggested. And as many people know, I am on the chair of the Economic Development and Historical Preservation Committee, and we do a lot of what Ms. Masak suggested today, which is trying to preserve land. It is very important, and have smart, controlled development of the land that we have to develop. We do have to develop according to our code. So the question is, if we have to development, to make sure we do it properly and keep open space and keep good parks and keep our bike trails in order and keep it walkable and climate smart. The Smart Streets Committee is very important at. My committee works hand in hand with quite a few. And what is been very important recently is the River's Ledge of Niskayuna, and we have some very good news there. That's a great example of having a salvage yard, basically of no environmental value, be turned into smart economic development, whereas you could have people living and residing together and using the land together in a mixed-use type of environment next to the Aqueduct Park, where we just had our rowers come and get a ceremonial resolution and have that whole kind of riverway usable that goes right into the Schenectady Rivers Casino area and all the development that's been going on in the Mohawk River there. So they're very important areas, and Rivers Ledge did receive its first certificate of occupancy today. That's just an amazing project. Still doesn't look real good because it's wintertime and the landscaping is not done, but boy, when it is done, it's going to be lights out. We also have been awarded a $50,000 Climate Smart Initiative grant to work on greenhouse gas inventories and our government climate action plan. That is awarded by the New York State Department Environmental Committee Conservation, and that's $50,000 that eventually we hope to get over $100,000 by continuing our work in that program. The building department did close out 2021 with a record-setting number of permits and inspections. So we do have to thank them for all their hard work. They have a lot of hands-on work with our residents, and they deal with them in a very positive and professional manner. Finally, we have a planning board member who is recently stepping down after 14 years. And planning board is one of those other very key committees that is very important in keeping our parkland, our development controlled. Mr. Morris Mo Oster, who's been a phenomenal planning board member for 14 years, paid great attention to detail, was always a firm advocate of protecting neighborhoods and natural areas from overdevelopment. It must have finally gotten burned out. And I probably know what did it. It's a recent development that's going on very close to his home. And it's just very difficult to be as involved as Mr. Oster has been for 14 years. And I'm sure this is a break that's much needed. And I just want to commend him for all of his work that he's done, and really the effect that he's had on the policies and the progression of development here in the town of Niskayuna. So with that, we will be meeting on the next first Friday of the month, which will be February 4th. We do meet in this room, but of course we have limited seating, so we are also hybrid. Please do join that meeting. Feel free to, we have a public comment speaking time in front of that meeting, just as we do here. So hopefully I will see all that are interested on February 4th at 8:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to resolutions.
Madam Supervisor.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. With your permission, I would just like to deliver a quick report.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. As we've heard a couple of times tonight, I was not assigned chairmanship of my own committee, but rather was appointed by the supervisor as vice chair of the Public Works Committee. To that end, I'd like to thank Councilman McPartlin for working together. And I'd also like to thank Highway Superintendent Ray Smith and Water and Sewer Superintendent Matt Yetto for the work that they and their crews do every single day. It truly is these employees who keep our town functioning, and I appreciate everything you and your departments do. The only thing I would like to add to Councilman McPartlin's report regarding the Christmas trees, and I thought it was an interesting fact that I learned during our committee meeting, was that when these trees are collected, they're actually recycled for use right here in town. And I thought that was a pretty interesting fact, that these trees are grinded and put through a chipper and then used to groom the parks and trails here in town. So thank you, Ray, for coming up with that and implementing that cost-effective method. The supervisor also assigned me to the position of liaison between the Public Works Committee and the Community Programs Committee. At this time, there's not much to report, but as spring approaches and outdoor spaces are needed for community events, I expect that there will be more to report there. I would like to thank Lori Peretti and all of her staff for their hard work on the great programs that they are currently coordinating, including fitness activities, ski trips, and mahjong, just to name a few. In addition to attending these two committee meetings, it was my pleasure to attend numerous other committee meetings, attend informational meetings with department heads, and work daily on citizen concerns. I would also like to mention that earlier this month, I virtually attended the newly elected official training, which is sponsored by the New York State Association of Towns. This school is designed to provide newly elected officials with the knowledge and tools that are needed to be a successful public servant and effectuate positive change. My purpose for delivering this report is because it's important to me that the residents know that while I may not have the assignment of chairing my own committee, I am committed to working on behalf of the residents and will continue to represent each and every taxpayer every day. Thank you, Madam Supervisor.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay. Moving on to resolutions. We will start with resolution number 2022-24, sponsored by Councilwoman Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution to employ additional employees and independent contractors in the town's Office of Community Programs.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-25, sponsored by Councilwoman Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract with the Animal Protection Foundation of Schenectady, Inc. for dog sheltering services.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-26, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution establishing dates of meetings of the town board for 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-27, sponsored by Councilman McPartlin and Councilman Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a contract with Schenectady County for mowing and maintenance of Grand Boulevard and Union Street Islands.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I would just like to note that I believe this contract includes a 3% increase in the amount that is given to the town for these shared services. So thank you, Ray, for including that increase. And Elena.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
this resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-28, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing certain budgetary modifications.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
this resolution passes. Resolution 2022-29, sponsored by Councilperson Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing payment of the 2022 membership fees for Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-30, sponsored by Councilperson McPartlin and Councilperson Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the purchase of a pump for Fillmore Pump Station.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-31, sponsored by Councilperson Brennan. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing a police vehicle maintenance bid for 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-32, sponsored by Councilperson McPartlin and Councilperson Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution permanently appointing a chief plant operator.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I just want to congratulate Josh on this permanent appointment. He completed his testing with the civil service, and we're very, very happy to have him. Congratulations.
I'd also like to congratulate Josh. I have not had the pleasure to meet him yet, but I have heard good things and glad to have him on board.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-33, sponsored by Councilperson McPartlin and Councilperson Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the third quarter 2021 corporate utility bill reconciliation.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-34, sponsored by Councilperson McPartlin and Councilperson Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the reconciliation of the residential and commercial utility rents for the first half of 2021.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-35, sponsored by Councilperson Delarada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing an individual to the Planning Board and Zoning Commission.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just briefly, Madam Supervisor, I'd like to congratulate Daisy Shenfield. She has served as an alternate, and I believe I first met Ms. Shenfield while canvassing her residence because there was a development that wanted to go behind CVS. And Daisy was very proactive in that. And that led to her eventually being on the planning board and I believe some other committees. And she's going to be a very good sponsor for many resolutions to come. So thank you, Ms. Shenfield.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
I just want to echo Councilperson Delarada's comments about Daisy. She actually lives in my neighborhood. And you're exactly right. When some development came up on Van Antwerp Road, she got involved, and then we got her here involved in the town. And she's quite an asset to the planning board. And I also want to wish Mo Oster well. I was on the planning board with Mo. He was a very, very capable individual and knew our planning and codes exceptionally well. and spent many years with many projects in this town, putting in many, many hours of time serving on that board and serving admirably. So I want to thank him for his time serving the town of Niskayuna.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-36, sponsored by Councilperson De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution calling for a public hearing on a special use permit for a mixed-use building at 1930 Hillside Avenue.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-37, sponsored by Councilperson De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting a climate smart community grant.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-38, sponsored by Councilperson De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution accepting a grant from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation for the installation of a historical marker at 3483 Rosendale Road.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-39, sponsored by Councilperson McPartlin and Councilperson Moskowitz. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into a fence easement agreement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-40, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing vacation time for the town comptroller.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
My only.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
Go
Councilman.
ahead. You sure?
Yeah.
I just want to compliment our new comptroller as well as our outgoing comptroller. Isma Alam was here for about a year and a half. I think fiscally she served us well. I am very excited that our supervisor took the bull by the reins and decided to go in another direction, a direction that she gave a lot of thought to, a lot of consideration to, and a direction that she did discuss with many of her town board members. So I would like to welcome our new comptroller as well in seconding this resolution. I understand that vacation time can be seen as a big deal, but in the big scheme of things, 2 weeks of vacation for the amount of service that a comptroller does and the importance that a comptroller is to a town, it really is a go-to person for all of us on this town board. If we don't have somebody in that position that we can trust, It's very difficult to keep the reins on town expenditures. We were very fortunate to have somebody in that position for over 30 years. And we went through a transition in a very short period of time because we were forced to. Our hand was forced, and we had to hire somebody on short notice, and we were very fortunate to get who we got. But I do look forward to Ms. Greenwood and in seconding this motion.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
I will echo Councilman Delarada's comments and congratulating Beth again in her appointment to the Comptroller position. My only concern with this specific resolution is that Section 802 of the Employee Handbook, which was adopted by this board, clearly provides for policies and procedures with respect to vacation accruals. I think that if, as a board, we would like to change that section of the Employee Handbook to account for prior experience, then I would support that, but we should be doing so by having a discussion to which my knowledge has not occurred. And I'm also concerned about the precedent we're setting here. Going forward, and in fairness to all of our municipal employees, are all new employees with experience entitled to additional paid time off? And if so, what defines experience? So I think those are some questions that should be looked into at a later time. Thank you, Supervisor.
Anyone else?
Yes, thank you. I also want to echo Councilperson Delarada's comments about our prior controller, and I too am very supportive of Comptroller Greenwood and starting in her new position with us here at the town. It is a very important position at the town. I also am in agreement with Councilperson Moskowitz's remarks regarding extra vacation time. I feel that the position that we have as a controller and the level of compensation that we have our current controller on just gives me some pause about adding 2 additional weeks of vacation.
Anyone else?
I'd like to add that in my experience, it's common practice for professionals to negotiate their hiring terms. It's just been my experience that this is common practice.
Thank you. I would also like to note that the actions like negotiating and hiring are ordinary processes that go in every organization. I think our taxpayers do understand this. The new comptroller negotiated 2 weeks of accrued vacation time. This has been done previously and is a common practice for professional positions. In fact, on the 28th day of September 2021, there was an employee who was hired and offered 5 days of accrual vacation time, and this was voted on in support by council member or councilperson De La Rada and councilperson McPartlin. So there is precedence for this. And due to an administrative error, the vacation time was not included in the original resolution that was presented at the organizational meeting. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
No.
Councilperson De La Rada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
No.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
So we have 3 yeses and 2 nos.
the resolution passes. Moving on to Resolution 2022-41, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement regarding the town's telephone system.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would just like to say that when we first inherited this project from the previous administration, I think we all had some concerns and questions regarding this project. After attending a couple of informational meetings and speaking with various department heads, it is my understanding that we are in fact in immediate need of some new equipment for security reasons and also to assist the police department. I'm pleased that this project is also fiscally responsible. It's my understanding that the equipment we are purchasing will pay for itself through cost savings in a matter of months. Although our policies don't require it, I do think that maybe a competitive bidding process could have been utilized here. But again, I do think we're making a fiscally responsible decision by passing this resolution should it pass. I'd also like to thank the supervisor for asking Councilman McPartlin and I to work together on researching the facts on this project. And I'd like to thank everyone else involved for their work.
Any other discussion?
Yes, so I was a person that tabled this at the end of last year with the outgoing board. I felt it was important that we had the new board look at this and get behind it. I want to thank Councilperson Moskowitz and all my board members for going to meetings, listening to all the information about this particular expenditure for the town. And I know Seth, our IT department head, was not happy about the delay, but I feel that it worked out best for the town and this board that everyone was able to look at it and get behind this particular resolution.
Any other discussion?
Just briefly, I want to thank everybody that was involved in this resolution, especially Seth Goldstein, the department head of our IT. And, you know, we have to rely on all of our department heads. The most important thing that we do as town board members is hire department heads that we can trust. So when department heads come with us with a recommendation, we generally accept that recommendation because we put that person there for a reason. So there really wasn't too many reasons not to accept this recommendation. It really made sense in every term and in every fiscal and security sense. So good job, Seth. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, I would like to amend this motion. I would like a motion to amend from the floor. Just today, we have been advised that Fluent will lock the monthly rate for the town of Niskayuna at $1,092.51 per month for 36 months without standard term contract. I'd like to add and be it further resolved that the contract will be amended to reflect that Fluent Voice Networks will lock this rate in. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes on the amendment.
the amendment passes. I would just like to point out that I would thank Board Member Bill McPartlin and also Board Member Moskowitz for taking the time to help conduct some additional research. I think the strength of this phone system is in the advantages it brings us technologically. I'm equally happy we can enhance our building with a system upgrade, which is cost effective. I want to thank our systems administrator and our security officer and our police officer liaison for doing an excellent job investigating all the proposals and making a strong recommendation. Is there anyone else who has any comments? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
the resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-42, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution authorizing the purchase of new phones and network-related equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes,
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-43, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution appointing individuals to the Ethics Committee and designating a chair for 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
This resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-44, sponsored by Councilperson De La Rada. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution establishing rates for the town designated engineers for 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 2022-45, sponsored by Supervisor Puccioni. Will the clerk please read?
A resolution hiring a videographer.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? It's been brought to my attention that the wage should list $13.20 for the minimum wage. Therefore, I motion to amend from the floor that this rate be changed to $13.20. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes on the amendment.
The amendment passes. Is there any further discussion on the resolution 2022-45? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Moskowitz.
Yes.
Councilperson Delarada.
Yes.
Councilperson McPartlin.
Aye.
Councilperson Brennan.
Yes.
Supervisor Puccioni.
Yes.
5 ayes.
The resolution passes. That is all we have on tonight's agenda. At this time, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Everyone, we stand adjourned and we'll move, and thank you. Have a good night.